we're going to bounce right over to some EcoNews, so don't go anywhere, because we're not leaving the depths of the ocean, just popping right over to some EcoNews, and we're going to say why finding kelp in the Galapagos is like finding a polar bear in the Bahamas. This is from June 28th of 2023, so this is a recent article. This kelp forest in the Galapagos is made of an unknown kelp species and grows at a depth of 50 to 60 meters. All right. So when Salome Bugles was studying underwater mountains in the Galapagos, the marine scientist came across something she didn't expect. I see these tall green things just swaying from one side to the other, Salome recalls. I thought, is this some weird black coral that's just really flappy? She eventually realized it was a kelp forest thriving in the deep, tropical waters. Kelp usually grows in cooler waters, and like other seaweed, needs light to survive. To add to the mystery, this kelp was growing deeper than usual, farther away from the sun's rays. Salome had a ton of questions. How is it so deep? What is it doing on top of a seamount? And why haven't we seen it before? And eventually, is this a whole new species? What's so great about kelp? Like coral reefs, kelp forests provide habitat to a huge number of species, from snails to crabs to baby sharks, making them important ecosystems for supporting biodiversity. And like forests on land, kelp forests also store carbon. They may otherwise end up in the atmosphere, contributing to climate change. For this reason, there is interest in growing kelp farms to capture and hold carbon. So I just want to add real quick, one of the few places I've actually been able to go snorkeling was in a kelp forest. It was freaking fantastic. I saw pufferfish and yeah, they said baby sharks. I saw baby sharks. I saw the forest crawling with creatures, great and small little crabs and snails and stuff like that. Really cool. Bugless. It might be Bugless or Bugless. I'm not sure. Researching deeper. Salome used a remotely operated vehicle, or ROV, to study the kelp forest. She describes it as a drone that looks like a microwave on a long tether. She operates the ROV from the boat and visualized what it saw on the screen. Salome Bugless lowering the remote operated vehicle into the ocean. Yeah, there we are. Is this the lost kelp? Salome says researchers had found a patch of kelp in the Galapagos before, but it hadn't been seen since 2007. They thought it may have gone extinct. So when Salome made her discovery, she says she was like, holy moly, this is the lost kelp. We found it again, and it's been hiding in the deep. To study it up close, Salome recovered a sample of the kelp using a robotic arm connected to the ROV. To her surprise, it measured almost 2 meters in height, which she says was definitely the biggest seaweed ever recorded in Ecuador. Yep, they are collecting it. A new species. So, if it wasn't the lost kelp, what was it? Salome worked with a geneticist and confirmed there wasn't another matching kelp on record. There are other known kelp that may be a match. They just haven't been genetically sequenced. That will require another expedition. If it is a new species, Salome and her collaborators will get to name the kelp, but she doesn't have any idea yet. Usually you either go with something that is that the creature inspires you to see, or something very visually obvious, and you take that Latin word of that. Salome says it's possible that these kelps are shrinking relics of a colder past that have died out as the tropics have warmed, but she thinks otherwise. My hypothesis is they're well-adapted, deep water dwelling kelp forest, and they're way more abundant than we thought. We just haven't looked. Yeah, so that's fantastic. Discovering new species. I played a video earlier of a lot of species that have gone extinct. It was all animals, of course, but it's nice when we get to find a new species, when we get to add to the list instead of strike through. Astrophysi sounds like a band of astronauts carbonating. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for joining me in Live from the Hive today. This has been a fun show. Please make sure you pop in Monday for our our HiveScience episode, and then Wednesday for Creation Watch, and Friday we have CrypticCorner. If you feel like being a sweetheart, just hit that like button down there. I see that maybe somebody hasn't hit it, and I don't know who you are, but I don't know what you're doing, what you're trying to prove. But yeah, go ahead and do it. And if you aren't subscribed, please subscribe to the Hive for more great content like this. I do produce, edit, and star in all my own content, so I am a hardworking girl, and I put a lot of work into and research into each and every episode. So please remember to be kind and take care. We will see you next time.
Kelp forests are found all around the globe, covering 25% of the world's coastlines in both temperate and polar regions. Towering to heights of up to 40 metres, kelp provides the architecture for an entire community